Hi, this is Trinesha, and today I wanted to talk about the heart being deceitful. So I know you're probably like, what in the world? But listen, I spent a lot of time praying last night, and I spent some time with God last night, and I spent some time with God this morning, and I have this book that I got from the Bible store. I don't know if you can see that, but it's Daily Guidepost 40 Devotions for Lent. And every day, Monday through Saturday, it gives you another thing to read for that day. And some on Wednesday, but I didn't read it, and I'm just being real. So I didn't read it Monday and Tuesday. So I read Monday and Tuesday today, and I went through, and it has like at the very bottom, there's like a digging deeper. So you can read scripture that corroborates whatever story's in here that is relevant to the day of Lent that you're on. And so today's topic was feasting of Jesus. And I was praying to God, and I was just like, God, it just seems like I'm trying to do the right thing. I want to be a good person. I want to do right by you. I want to stay focused on you. I don't want to get distracted. I don't want to lose focus. I don't want to lose faith. I don't want to lose hope. I don't want to lose anything. I've lost things that are just materialistic things. I've lost things that could never be God, but I just, and I want to make sure that no matter what happens around me, that I don't break my focus. I don't break my focus from God. And so I was telling God about the things, that were troubling me and things that are on my mind, because me and God, we kind of talk like this. We have a real conversation, and we converse just as I am, in a regular conversation with someone that I'm really close to. The only difference is with God, God can solve any problem. Sometimes you might talk to other people, and they might be able to like give you a few words of encouragement. They might say something, or they might or might not be able to help you out. But with God, when I go to him, he always can help me. And I'm not saying he always gives me my way. That's not the same thing, because giving somebody something that they don't need is not helpful at all. So I was praying to God, and I was listening to gospel music. I really just was telling God all the things that were troubling me, anything that was on my mind, anything that I was worried or concerned about, anything that I just felt like I just don't know why. I don't understand what's happening in my life right now. And, I really didn't want to call somebody and vent to them. I wanted to talk to God first above everything else. And if I talked to somebody else eventually, it would be somebody that I trusted, or somebody that I felt like could handle, whatever it was that I told them. And it wouldn't be the things that I placed on my heart to allow God to work out. It would have been something that I needed to be able to do so I can be better. And so, so as I was praying to God, I felt it on my spirit to pick up this book. And I was like, okay, and then I was like, oh, I forgot to read it, a couple days or whatever. Or so. And so I go on and I read those days, and I go to Tuesday, and in the digging deeper, it brings me to Jeremiah 17:7-9. And for those of you who don't know, this is like the really popular, scripture where it says the heart is deceitful. I know. And the funny part about this is, I still felt like a little like, okay, God, you're telling me the heart is deceitful. Okay, I know. Me following my heart is making me look crazy. It's making me, just feel like I want things that I shouldn't have. It's making me want to be with people that I probably shouldn't want to be with. It's making me feel a certain type of way. And, you're supposed to guard your heart at all costs because of this. And so I just felt like, okay, God, well, you gave me an answer ish, like you guided me in the right direction. You showed me the scripture, and it's telling me the heart is deceitful. And I'm like, okay, the heart is deceitful. And then I'm like, okay, the heart is deceitful. And what else? Because I feel like I already know that me following my heart is not a good idea. I already know that me, anytime my heart leads me somewhere, it's not a good thing. And, I'm not saying you shouldn't have your heart in things, because God can use that for his benefit. I'm just saying that you should be guarding your heart at all costs. And when you are in your purpose, you should have some of your heart into it because God is in it, you know? And so I'm sitting there and I'm just like, okay, God, I hear what you're saying, but I just don't understand, like what you're trying to tell me because, right now I just feel like I know my face looks like weird. It looks weird because I literally have been crying all day. But not crying just because of one thing or another. It's just like I just feel in between. I don't feel like I'm like at this place or this place. Like I don't feel like I'm where I was, but I don't feel like I'm where I'm going either. If that makes any sense. And I just man, life. Life is just oof, you know. And so I'm sitting there and I go to pick up my daughter and I'm trying to like not be sad. And so we are driving, I pick her up from school, we're driving back home and she's like, "Why do you look like that?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like saying jokes and I love corny jokes. So usually I'm cracking up laughing. Usually I'm like the joy that enters the room. Usually I'm the person who's always smiling, always happy, always dancing, always, making a corny mom joke, or something else. And I just felt, I don't want to say I didn't feel anything. I just kind of felt like a pause, like in my smile, in my heart, in my body, in my mind. Like it felt like I couldn't think in this moment. Like I was thinking about life, but I couldn't make a decision on something. It felt like my heart, it just felt like destroyed. It felt like, I mean, I wouldn't say destroyed. It felt like, how this is a weird analogy, but I promise it might make sense to some people, especially people who are Marvel or DC, fans. And so I kind of felt like when you get to that part in a superhero story and the superhero, like, the superhero's gone for whatever reason. And you're devastated because you're like, this is the main character. They can't just let this person go. Like this person just can't be gone because the story has to continue and they need to fight all of these other villains and the adversaries that are out there, all of these things that are trying to destroy the people of the city or, the world. And they're the ones like out of all the people, but they're the ones because they've got this superpower. you know they're the ones that are called to do this thing, to be able to sustain the test of time, to sustain all of the trials, all of the tribulations, all of the things that the adversary throws at the superhero. The superhero is supposed to be able to be successful no matter what, because that's just kind of like what we want to happen. So my heart right now and my mind and my body just feels like that part in the superhero story when the superhero is they're gone, and you're like really hopeful, like get up, like no, this isn't the end, like you have to keep going. Like that's what it feels like on the inside of me right now. It feels like I'm just at that place where it looks like it's over. It looks like that's it. There's nothing left. It looks like I've given everything that I can to this fight. Like I've literally through every single type of, I've done all the training that I've done, everything that I went through in the past, everything that I've learned in my trainings, I have used to fight against this villain. I've used to fight against this adversary. And out of nowhere, I'm defeated. But we know how this story goes. Because even though it looks like the superheroes, gone and everything, and I don't know why I keep making the sound effect, but okay. And even though it looks like the superheroes down and out, it looks like they have nothing left in them. It looks like that's the end of the story. It looks like it's going to end with the superhero being gone, that the villain actually won, that the adversary actually won against the superhero. And out of nowhere, I don't know if you want to call it love, because most of the time it'll be the love that they had for someone or something gave them this unbelievable strength that just caused them to be able to be successful in this battle that it looked like they were going to lose in. And I feel like this is a weird analogy, but I feel like that's how God is in our life. God placed a special gift on each and every one of us. Each and every one of us has a purpose. We have something that we are put on this earth to do. And only we can do it. We're the only ones out of everyone in the world that can do the thing that God placed on the inside of us for us to do. And when we're in this battle in life, when we're fighting little adversary, we have little battles here and there. We're fighting them and we pass through it. We finish, and if you can kind of tell you're going to win, like it's like, okay, this isn't even the baddest person. Like they put up a good fight, but you're going to win, I feel like this last battle has been like the part of the superhero story where the superhero's gone. And just like that superhero, I call on God. God is love. So just like love is the strength that superhero needed, love is the strength that I need. That love that God gives me, that love that I have for other people is what is giving me like the strength to continue to keep going on, to be strength for, like at this time, at this time, I just don't have it to give anybody else right now. Like, I just don't have anything inside of me that I could give to somebody else at this very moment. I don't. I wish I did, but I can't right now. Right now, I gotta do something for myself. Ooh, I forgot I had these. I brought my cute little Q-tips in here that are like gonna make me look fancy all of a sudden. See, I gotta be careful because I'm so clumsy and people don't notice, but I'm so clumsy I probably would stab myself in the eye on accident. You know what I'm saying? And so I have to be real careful. But ooh, and it looks like I look like I didn't even cry or anything. Like it looks like real fancy. I'm gonna start doing this. So I put the Q-tips in here because of this, because I'm always crying. And so I really feel like this is the moment where I need to re-energize and pour something into myself, because I just don't have anything that I can pour into anybody else. I literally have been giving so much to other people around me for the past like 6 months. And I've been trying to be strong for everybody else. I've been trying to put on like this front. I've been trying to just pretend as if nothing has affected me in any way in the past 6 months. And while I'm doing this fast and all of the things that have been happening in my life in the past 2 weeks, it's just been a lot. A lot. And I'm calling on God. Like, God is the thing that's keeping me moving. I literally the other day was thinking, I was like, God, can I just lay down right now? Like, I just need a moment to just gather my thoughts, to get back together so I can get it together so that I can continue on doing the things that you put on my heart for me to do, so I can be in my purpose. And God was like, I did not make you weak. You might be the weaker vessel, but you are not a weak person. And he was like, you better not. You know how your kids, how your parents when you were a kid would be like, you better not touch that thing. And they gave you that look, like, if you touch it, it's on. Like, and you'll be like, you put your hand back down because you're like, Like, that's how I felt in that moment. God was like, you better not lay down. I did not bring you this far for you to just give up. I didn't bring you this far for you to give up at this moment, right now, ever. All of the things that you've been through, you can't. If you lay down, that's saying that you are giving up your purpose. That's saying that you're giving up on all these people. That's saying that you're giving up on yourself. You're giving up on your child. You're giving up on generations to come. Is that what you want? I was like, okay, that's how you coming at me right now. And I really had to think about it. And I had to really think about the fact that I don't want my child, I don't want any generations to come, I don't want any other women to have to deal with the pain that I feel in this moment, or the pain that I felt in the past 2 weeks. All of the things that I thought that I wanted, or I thought that I would get in life, I did not get. And I don't want to make it sound like a spoiled brat kind of thing, but being Christian does not mean you get everything that you want every time you want it. It means that you get what you need exactly when you need it. That's totally different. And I know you're saying, well, if you have everything that you need, how could you feel sad? Because I'm a human being that emotes like every other human being. Just like men are okay. It's okay for men to cry. Like, I don't know why we got this weird stigma on men. Like, they just need to be tough and they don't ever have to feel emotions, because then they end up on ID or something because they didn't bottled all their emotions up. Like, I don't want any man to end up there. you know? Like, I feel like any man that cries is like, that is the most attractive thing ever. And I don't mean somebody that just cries every single day because like the rain, it started to rain, like nothing like that. But like real tears for a real person. And so I just, I really was feeling like, okay, God, I'm at this point. It looks like, this is the end of the journey. Like that might be it. And God was like, I couldn't give up. I can't give up. And I had to like keep speaking life into myself all day today. I can't give up. I made it too far. I'm the head and not the tail. I'm above and not beneath. I am beautifully and wonderfully made. I'm more than a conqueror. I just had to keep on speaking and speaking and speaking. And God is my bridge over troubled water. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. If God is for me, he's more than the whole world against me. It doesn't matter what it looks like right now. God is going to see me through this. Like, I just had to keep on speaking life into myself. I had to keep on listening to Christian music. I had to keep on I had to keep on keeping on. I really just, you don't understand how much I was just like, okay, I'll just give it to somebody else. Somebody else could take on this burden, Someone else can feel all of these things that I feel. Someone else can be in this position. And then I was like, no, there's no way I would want my daughter or generations to come or any other woman to feel the pain that I'm feeling right now. I would rather feel the pain that I feel right now for other people, so that other people don't have to experience this, so that there can be a new start line, so that people will have something else to look forward to in life, instead of feeling like they have to really settle for the less. Like feeling like they really have to, okay, it didn't work out with this person, let me just settle for anybody. Like, we are not doing that. I'm telling you for real, like, I'm not going through this right now so that you could just go ahead back to your old relationship and feel like you're not worthy. I'm telling you right now, you are worthy. I'm telling you right now that you deserve everything that God has for you. And the moment that you give up is like you saying that all of the pain that I went through is for nothing. All of the pain that Jesus went through on the cross is for nothing. Because Jesus did not die so that we could have a better life, so that you could just settle for the bare minimum, so that you could just settle for anybody, so that you could just accept anything from any person. That is not what God's intention was for you. It doesn't matter how many people try you. It doesn't matter how many things are taken away from you. You're still standing and you're still here. Every time you have another breath in your body, it's another opportunity for you to be better. It's another opportunity for you to do something else in the world. It's another opportunity for you to encourage other people, for you to be there for other people, for you to serve, to be intentional, for you to be obedient to God. For one day could change your entire life. Sometimes we have this idea in our head like it's going to take years and years for things to happen. God can make anything happen in any moment. Today I could go somewhere, or tomorrow I can go somewhere and someone could say, hey, I want you to do this, this, and this. The next thing you know, I have a connection that lasts a lifetime. And I just started this, let's just say, because of that, I start this nonprofit business that helps women who are dealing with like struggles in their life, whatever their struggle may be. And I allow them to get life spoken into them by life coaches. They have a therapist there. They have a center. They have jobs. It's a whole enterprise full of women executives and people who are striving to be better. It's a digital marketer. It's a blogger. It's a person on there who does social media marketing. Digital marketing is social media, but social media, they do YouTube University, with courses, and it's all strategized and it's set up for different people. They have rooms in there, and it's like a church downstairs. And in the thing, it's people who come in that speak motivation over the people that are down there. And all of those people, anytime they need it, like for an hour every day, there's someone that comes in that speaks motivation, or once a week. And then during the rest of the week, there are people in the program who have graduated that come in and speak motivation from their testimonies. There's people in there who have courses. They set up courses for people like Course Careers or something else. And in this room, they do different classes, and the women can go and take classes so they can get their life on track, so that they don't feel like they have to rely on somebody that's giving them the bare minimum. We have, we'll have like this place where we do just finance. It's a finance department. We do billing. We do all of these different things that will help pour into a person, and it will pretty much run itself. It'll be encouraging, building, strengthening. Every woman that comes through that door will leave more empowered. Every woman that comes through that door will be told to speak life to somebody else, and so on and so forth. And the next thing you know, there will be one of those in every single state. And after there's one of those in every single state, there will be one of those in every single country. Every country will have a woman like me who went through something and didn't let it stop them. In a moment when I should have given up, I looked to God, and God gave me the strength that I needed to continue on. And this is what I wanted to say about the verse. So I read Jeremiah 7-9 today for the Lent book. And it said, "Blessed is the man that trusts in the Lord, and whose hope the Lord is. For he shall be as a tree planted by waters, and that spreadeth out her roots by the river, and shall not see when heat cometh. But her leaf shall be green, and shall not be careful in the year of drought, neither shall cease from yielding fruit. The heart is deceitful above all things, and desperately wicked. Who can know it?" And I was like, okay, so you're going to end it with the heart being deceitful? That's how I felt earlier. Why? This is how good God is, and this is how real God is. I didn't have my answer, and I was trying to figure out, what God was trying to tell me in this message in Jeremiah 17:7-9. And I hear this pastor in a sermon. As soon as I read this and I don't understand it, a couple hours later, I go on to a sermon, because I listen to sermons during the day. And why does the sermon say, we know that the heart is deceitful, but what we forget is, blessed is the man that trusts in the Lord. That's our solution. Our heart might have deceived us, but if we stay focused on God, God will show us how to use our heart so it can strengthen us, so that when we are in our purpose, so that when we are doing the things that God put on our heart for us to do, we will be doing it with our heart in it. God doesn't want us to not have our heart be useful, and just to allow one person, place, or thing to destroy our purpose, to destroy our momentum, to destroy our focus, to make us feel like we can't trust ourselves. I feel like that's all a ploy of the enemy. I really do. Because why else would someone make you want to feel like you don't want to be vulnerable with anyone else, or that you want to just never ever use your heart for anything? You just want to kind of just live life, I'm just living it. I have no, my heart isn't in anything that I'm doing, but I'm here, God's purpose for you is to do it with your heart in it. Do it with intentionality. And I don't know about you, but the passion that I feel comes from my heart. It doesn't just come from my mind, because I know some things now. Like, yes, there are things that I've gathered throughout my life that have helped me. And there's knowledge that, of course, knowledge is so powerful, because it allows me to be able to articulate better. It allows me to be able to find other solutions. But without that passion, without my heart in it, it's not the same. Someone standing right beside me could be saying the same thing that I'm saying. They could be like, Yes, you have to have your heart in it. And then you're like, okay, like, do you have to have your heart in it, or are you confused? But when you hear me talk, you could feel that my heart is in it. You could feel, like, I don't know how it is, but when you're watching a video, you can kind of tell when somebody's just faking and fronting, or when they're being for real. And when I'm doing these videos, I hope that you could feel the sincerity of my heart. I hope that when I'm speaking my words, you know how passionate I am about helping other people. That you can see that I truly want people to win. I don't want just people to just settle. I settled in the past. That's why I'm so, that's what really gets me going. That's what really motivates me so much. That's what keeps me pushing forward. And especially when I see someone and they say, you helped me so much. And I really want to thank the people who God placed in my life, who in the past 3 days have been so supportive of me while I have not been the strongest, because I don't think they'll ever watch this video. But if they do, you know who you are. You. But they just, after, yesterday, what happened yesterday, and then the person that I was at the thing with gave me a hug when I needed it. And then today I had someone call me who was like, hey, I just want to check to see if you're okay. And then one of my family members texted me and was like, hey, are you okay? Because the person has been there they've been through my whole journey. So they kind of know where I started at. They know like how it was when I was with the other person. They kind of know the things that I've been through. And so they really were genuinely concerned about like how I'm doing and things like that, which I thought was like the sweetest thing ever. And then my family member was just kind of like, I know you, what's going on? And I'm like, blah. I said, blah. I said, blah, no, I'm good. And then they were like, all right, I just want to check on you. I want to make sure you're good. And I was like, oh, I really appreciate that. But God is like that. I mean, God is like that, because when you need something, He will give you everything that you need. You keep on thinking that you got to find it in a person, place, or thing. Like that person is going to be God. Like all of a sudden, they're just going to make you happy forever. They're never going to disappoint you. They're never going to do anything wrong. But we forget that human beings are people who make mistakes. And no one person could ever be God. No person, not any person could ever be God. And so we have like this unrealistic standard in our mind of what people are going to be or what people are going to do, and that's just not going to happen. And I always try to stay focused on God and know that God is who He said He is. Not that, Bill, Jack, and Bob and whoever else is God. They might be decent people. They might be, all right people, whatever else, but they are not God. And God is the only one who brings joy to my life. God is the only one who completes me. There's not one person who can complete me, who can fill me up from the inside out, who can pour into my soul the way that God does. And I don't expect any human being, any person that I meet to ever be that, any job to ever be that, any friendship, any family member to ever be that, because I know that's only a place that God can fill. And so I don't want to go too far go on too long, because I do have to leave in a few minutes. So I need to get my shoes and trying to think of what else I got to do. I really, like, my mind is just so, like, I don't have it in me. And I'm hoping that tonight when I go to Bible study, it'll help me just feel like I have a little bit more, so I can just, it'll fuel me up a little bit more. And the sermon that I just listened to gave me like a little more. And so I'm hoping that the sermon will give me a little more. I mean, the Bible study will give me a little bit more. And then, by tomorrow morning or Friday, I will feel good. I'll feel content with where I am, God willing. And so, in conclusion, I know you heard that, like, and then my whole demeanor was just like, you know. Listen, I'm not going to explain that, but in conclusion, the heart may be deceitful, but God isn't. We might feel like we need to just take our heart all out of the equation and just never, be with someone again, or never like someone again, never give someone an opportunity again. You might feel like you never want to be at another job again. You want to just start your own thing. If that's what God put on your heart for you to do, okay. But listen, if God is telling you to be in that environment because there needs to be a Christ-like person there, and you might be the person who brings joy to somebody that you don't even know needs it, then that's where you should be at. And, you know, just stay focused on God. If you trust in the Lord, blessed is the man who trusts in the Lord and whose hope the Lord is. Don't ever feel like now you have to be closed off. Don't ever feel like now you can never ever talk to another person again. Don't ever feel like you'll never want to interview or be in another position ever again in your life. Don't ever feel like anything that you has been taken away from you, or any person who doesn't want to be with you, or whatever the situation is. Don't ever feel like that is an excuse for you not to let the right people in, because God has a way of changing things for the better. God has a way of making every single thing that seems tragic, everything that seems like you're missing something. It seems like something has been taken away from you. It seems like, okay, God, you've taken this. So, right when you are, I'm just going to be real for people who are really struggling, because I don't want to just say, God's got it. Then, like, listen, when someone doesn't want you, or when, something is taken away from you because God says, hey, this is not for you, even though you can't understand why. As a Christian, I feel like I know God's going to come through. I know it in my heart. I know it in my mind. But it's like my body hasn't caught up to it yet. It's kind of like, okay, God, you've taken this thing away. And I'm not expecting him. I know he will replace it with something else. But while you are waiting, while you're on pause, while you're in the in-between stage, while right now you get to watch every person that you like be with somebody else. Right now, while you get to watch your ex be in a whole new relationship, which that doesn't really matter who is in another relationship, because in my mind, what I think is, if it's for me, it's for me. And there's no other person who could take away something that God had for me. So regardless of what I do and don't do, that person is or isn't going to be for me regardless, whether they're with someone or not. So obviously the ex wasn't for me, so that doesn't really matter. The other person, I don't know. So it's all up to God. And let's just say worst case scenario. So worst case scenario, the person just isn't interested in you at all. I said it with a pause because I know for some people it's like, what? You're like, oh, my pearls. And you got like a moment like that. So I had to give you a second to gather yourself, because I know it can be like really harsh when people do things like that. And so take a moment. It's going to be okay. I know it doesn't feel like it. I know it sucks. I know it's like the worst feeling in the world, because of course you want to internalize it and feel like it's all your problem. Like it's all your fault. Like you did something wrong. But maybe you did nothing wrong. Maybe this is just a part of your life. Maybe this is a part of your journey. And although it sucks, I promise you're not alone. You don't have to feel like you're the only person who has ever experienced this. The baddest women have experienced this. And so it's not just a you thing, it's an everybody thing, because everybody has something that they do or don't want. And it doesn't mean that you're not good enough. It just means that that's not the person for you. It means that they're not graced for you. And someone who actually is grace for you will have an opportunity to be with you now, because you won't just be so focused on the other person. I hope that makes sense to you. And I hope you really don't internalize it and really start to doubt yourself or lack confidence because of what someone else says. I hope that you understand that you are beautifully and wonderfully made, that you are the head and not the tail, that you are above only and not beneath, that you are more than a conqueror. Everything that you've been through, girl, everything that you've been through, and you think this is going to stop you? Mm-mm. Nah, we're not doing it. So let God be your bridge over troubled water. Even though you walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you don't have to fear any evil, because it's a fixed fight and God already won. The only thing Satan's trying to do is just make you feel worthless, to make you feel like you're not good enough so he can take things from you. But I promise you, there's nothing that God has for you that Satan could ever take away. Stay focused on God, believe in yourself, and know that everything that God promised you will be given unto you.